Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. This investigation into Donald Trump is super serial, okay? Totally serious. It's based purely on good, strong evidence of wrongdoing and criminal activity.
Oh, we're gonna definitely assume we're gonna be a real pain in the ass.
Well, it turns out, not exactly. That's what the leftoids think, or at least that's what the leftoids are being told to think. It's certainly what everyone with a vendetta against Donald Trump seems to think. How much of that is fact-based and how much of that is copium, I'll let you decide. But it seems like nonpartisan legal experts have a different opinion, and even some partisans have a different opinion. We're actually now getting a report that an FEC official, a key member of the Federal Elections Commission, is coming out publicly with a statement on the record absolutely slamming, dismantling Alvin Bragg's pathetic little election finance case. Cue the leftist outrage. Cue the leftist copium. Don't really have a meme for that one. But let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into. Let's roll the tape. All right, friends, so take a look at this piece from the Washington Examiner. FEC, Trump Stormy case is, quote, not a campaign finance violation. A key member of the Federal Election Commission today rejected the Manhattan District Attorney's indictment of former President Donald Trump as a violation of federal election laws. It's not a campaign finance violation. It's not a reporting violation of any kind, said FEC Commissioner James E. Trey Traynor. In trying to stretch the law to make it look like a violation, he added, District Attorney Bragg is really trying to make a square peg fit into a round hole. In a 34-count indictment of Trump, the first criminal case ever against a former president, Bragg charged that a $130,000 payment made by former Trump attorney Michael Cohen to adult star Stormy Daniels, which Cohen went to jail for in a plea deal, violated several campaign finance laws that splashed onto Trump. But Traynor said the FEC and the Justice Department already considered the case and tossed it. He posted this to Twitter. This is the @FEC hearing room. This is where campaign finance violations are tried. With that as a background, Traynor told Secrets today that it will be hard for a judge or jury to come up with a different conclusion since it's FEC and DOJ, that it will be hard for a judge or a jury to come up with a different conclusion since it's the FEC and the DOJ that prosecute federal campaign finance law. He reiterated that in a Tuesday tweet that showed the FEC hearing room and wrote, this is where campaign finance violations are tried. Traynor, a Texas-based election lawyer appointed by Trump, listed several reasons why the FEC did not take up the payment into Daniels in 2018. He also released a statement shown below that he and Commissioner Sean Cooksey wrote in April 2021 explaining why the FEC voted to dismiss the case. First, he said, Cohen took the blame in his plea deal. At the end of the day, there's the person who committed the crime, and there's the person who is behind bars because of it, Traynor said of Cohen. Second, the paperwork violation in question came well after Trump's 2016 election, so it couldn't have been done to help his election. Third, it is not obvious that the reason for the payment and the reimbursement to Cohen was to influence the election, thus failing the objective standard of law. It has to be something that anybody on the street can look at and say, the only reason that you did this was to influence the campaign, said Traynor. There's a lot of reasons that he could have done it that aren't related to him being a candidate for president, and so, therefore, it wouldn't have met the standard as campaign expenditure under federal law, he added. Also, the statute of limitations on the case was running out, and it wasn't worth the time and expense to prosecute, he said. I don't know how you get around the evidence that both the Department of Justice in their investigation of the federal campaign finance issues and the Federal Elections Commission in their ultimate jurisdiction over campaign finance issues, neither of them found there to be any violations whatsoever. And I think that the jury is going to see that, and they're going to have to rely upon the fact that both the law enforcement experts and the civil enforcement experts, as far as campaign finances are concerned, didn't find any violations of the law there. And so, look, it doesn't get any more conclusive than that. I can already hear the leftoids chiming in. Oh, but this FEC commissioner was appointed by Donald Trump. Therefore, that's not an argument. This one specific FEC commissioner isn't the only person who works for the FEC or isn't the only person who worked on this specific case. He's simply relaying the message. You know, the tweet that he posted basically tells you all that you need to know. That tweet with the image alone already totally discredits Alvin Bragg's case. That's the FEC hearing room, and that's where campaign finance violations are tried, not by some rogue Manhattan prosecutor or by some random partisan Manhattan judge. In other words, Alvin Bragg has has no jurisdiction. The ultimate jurisdiction over campaign finance violations lies at the FEC. But even beyond that, that's not the only discrediting factor. Michael Cohen already took credit for the payment itself. There's the statute of limitations, and probably the most important factor that all the paperwork that was filed related to the NDA, the $130,000 hush payment to Stormy Daniels, happened after the election. Alvin Bragg's entire case just fell apart. He's essentially trying to legally prove that the hush money payment was made specifically to affect the outcome of the election, yet the payment itself was made after the outcome of the election. It doesn't get any more cut and dry than that. I mean, you know you have nothing when even MSNBC's Joe Scarborough, a man whose entire identity at this point is, oh, Donald Trump evil, can even admit that the whole case is garbage.
Since Bragg came forward with charges, and I will say again, for me, there wasn't a lot of there. I know you disagree with me, and that's fine. But even though
crime is a crime is a crime,
there wasn't a lot of there, in my opinion.
Mika Brzezinski says, well, a crime is a crime is a crime. Just parroting the same nonsense talking point that we keep seeing from these leftoids, especially on MSNBC. But even if it is a crime, it's certainly not a felony. It's a misdemeanor. The falsification of business records is a misdemeanor. Yet Alvin Bragg is trying to bump it up to a Class E felony based on some legal voodoo witch doctor nonsense. In a just world, Alvin Bragg's case will go absolutely nowhere, and I think even Alvin Bragg knows that. He stands a slim chance. The only chance that he has is in corrupt Manhattan. Alvin Bragg's gonna have to seriously justify and defend the credibility of this case, or else it's gonna fall apart faster than you could possibly imagine. And actually, speaking of defending, it seems as though this Soros puppet is getting quite defensive. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is now suing Jim Jordan over Trump investigation subpoenas. In his suit, Bragg alleged that Jordan and the committee are attempting to wage an intimidation campaign over the indictment. The district attorney says he's taking legal action in response to an unprecedentedly brazen and unconstitutional attack by members of Congress on an ongoing New York State criminal prosecution and investigation. Now, I find it funny that they call it a New York State criminal prosecution when the crime itself is federal and he has no jurisdiction. But he's claiming that Jim Jordan and James Comer's investigation into his investigation is an unconstitutional attack, an attempt to intimidate him, when really all it is congressional oversight. Alvin Bragg already got debunked on this. He claimed that Congress has no jurisdiction over his investigation, yet it's been proven that his investigation used federal funds, therefore Congress absolutely has jurisdiction over him, or oversight jurisdiction, and just like that, as fast as you could possibly imagine, literally the same day, Southern District of New York quickly smacks down Alvin Bragg, no restraining order against Jim Jordan. Representative Jordan actually chimed in.
Yeah, of course, because Martha, we know the FBI wanted to spy on parents, they wanted to target traditional Catholics, try to get informants within churches. We know that the IRS knocked on a journalist's door while that journalist was testifying in front of our committee, while Democrats were asking who his sources are, and now we have Alvin Bragg interfering and obstructing our investigation into election interference in the most important election we have, which is the election of who's going to be president of the United States. So never forget what Alvin Bragg did here. He used federal money to indict a former president. Indict a former president. He used federal money to do that with no underlying crime here. He couldn't even state that at the press conference. And then when we try to investigate, he says, no. We're going to take you to court. And the guy we want to talk to hasn't worked for Alvin Bragg for a year. And he wrote a book on this very subject. That's why we want to talk to him. We actually kind of want to know, too, was there any involvement with the Biden Justice Department, with the White House, and how this all worked out? So those are the questions we have. But I actually think Alvin Bragg is obstructing our investigation, our constitutional duty to do oversight.
And that's exactly what it is. Alvin Bragg is trying to obstruct their investigation. The investigator doesn't want to get investigated, obviously because he knows he's full of crap. Jordan is saying that Manhattan DA lawsuit won't stop the House investigation of Alvin Bragg. Good on him. Alvin Bragg had one mandate here: to bring something actually serious, or to essentially screw off. Present a serious, real case with actual credible evidence, or maybe, do your job and actually prosecute real crimes in New York. He decided to bring this weak, unconstitutional garbage case. And so moving forward, it's probably going to be time for him to face the consequences of his clearly partisan, despicable actions. The whole thing's falling apart, and my position has not changed, not in the least. Alvin Bragg should be investigated, he should be charged and disbarred. He's the only real criminal that I've seen thus far. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.